As she said, I'm Mitch Justice from Belfry High School. Let me first thank you for allowing me this opportunity to talk with you. I would like to also say that I have been very fortunate in my career to do something very unusual. I have had the opportunity to both teach at the elementary school where I grew up and now at the high school for 18 years where I went to high school and graduated from. So that in part kind of will give a little insight as to why I feel about the importance of the project that I've undertaken with my students. Last year I was given the opportunity for the first time to teach Kentucky Studies at Belfry High School. And as I was sitting talking with my principal about where I wanted to go with the class, I told him that I would love to find a community-based, project-based oriented assignment that we could do with the students to get them more involved with the community. And he looked at me and said, well, I'm glad you said that. He said, because one thing I want you to do with the Kentucky Studies class I've been thinking about for a long time is to work with our local museum, the Stone Heritage Museum. And I said, that's perfect. I said, I don't know why I didn't think that's exactly what we're looking for. So last year we started working not through ARI grant, but we started a project-based unit with them. And we sort of felt the waters for the things we needed to do with them. We worked with the members of the Stone Heritage Museum, their board of directors, and we kind of looked at what the things we needed to do to help them that will most benefit both them and my Kentucky Studies classroom. Last year we created a website for the Stone Heritage Museum, and you can view that website at your leisure. It's www.stoneheritagemuseum.weebly.com, and you can see the hard work that my students last year put into their project. This year we decided to do something a little different. And we've been working, I've met with several members of the board, and some of those are planning to come visit our classroom, let my students interview them, and we're going to work on different projects that will benefit both my classroom, my student learning environment, and the Stone Heritage Museum. What we want to do, we want to purchase some video equipment and computer equipment that will allow us the opportunity to let students actually record history. There's the name of my project, Recording History, a collaborative project between the Belfry High School Kentucky Studies classroom and the Stone Heritage Museum. I realized last year that in the beginning I had a limited amount of students who were very interested in working within the community. And that's a big part of social studies, becoming willing participants and good citizenship. And I realized as we worked, the more technology we used, the more interest my students showed. So my question was, my research question, can the implementation of technology within the classroom help students become more willing participants in regards to positive citizenship within our local community, our state, and our nation? And I want to brag on my students for just a moment because I have been overwhelmed with much of their enthusiasm. Most of what you see here are ideas that they have come up with themselves, that they realize from looking at the website and talking to me about the Stone Heritage Museum, things that will be important to both them and the museum. And some of the topics that we're currently looking to research include a day in the life of a coal miner. They want to look at what it was like when Henry Ford came into the community and started there in the Stone community with the Fordson Coal Company, what it was like from around 1928 to 1940 or 45 for an average day for a coal miner, what it was like for him from the time he got up in the morning and went to work till he came home. We have another group that wants to take that same time period and they want to do a day in the life of a family that was living in Stone at that time, particularly like the coal mining camp families. And they've been looking at the local housing there. A lot of the housing is still standing in a very good shape that was built over the course of the years in what we call our mining camps back then. So they want to look at that. Another group, they want to do a look at our community's veterans and the contributions they've made to the history of the community. Another group, we've got the Henry Ford Mansion there in Stone, Kentucky. It was a very nice home that was built during that time period for Henry Ford. He really didn't live there, which is, a lot of people don't realize that, but as we've researched, kids want everybody to know the true history of the home, and they're very interested in that. Another is medicine and dentistry of the time, particularly those coal-related illnesses that miners had to deal with. We are a coal mining community, and it's very important to us. So, and our kids want to dive into what it was like then and what it's like now, how much change has taken place. The company store is another thing that my students are looking at. I have one group that's going to do a small documentary on the company store and what it was like. And I was very fortunate. I have a young man in my class who collects mining script, he and his father. And he's taken a very big interest, in some other students, in researching and talking about how mining script was used. And they were going to work in conjunction probably with my group with the company store. Matter of fact, this young man has taken such an interest, he has given us a new opportunity that we're exploring now. He actually has a family friend who is a professional grant writer, and he has enlisted her to help us, and she's going to help us research and find grants and write them for us, free to us. She works in a neighboring town for the city, and in her free time, I've been in contact with her. She is going to sit down with us and offer her services free of charge. So that's the kind of response I'm getting from my students, and I can't brag on them enough. What we want to do, we want to create some small documentaries. We want to create some historical videos, collections of photographs that can be put on in a storyline presentation that way maybe in the future. We don't want this to stop and end with this year. We want this to be a continuing process. We want to be able to find donations to secure some computers and hard drives to store this data in the Stone Heritage Museum, where people can go in the museum and interact with the museum and see the work that our kids have done for years to come. We also want to enhance the website by creating links to their work via the website, so people who live many miles from here, even on other continents, can get on there and look at the work that our students have done and learn about our community. And my response from my students has been overwhelming. I have some of my students where the museum cannot be open on a permanent basis now. You have to schedule time. Some of my students have already expressed interest in becoming tour guides. Some of them have even expressed maybe careers in something with the museum in the future with just what little bit of work we've done thus far. So I've been really proud and really pleased with them. And they're really a joy. I look forward to going to my class every day, because I know that it's going to be filled with excitement when I get there. But one last thing I want to say, I don't want this to just be a community-based project. I don't want this just to be a classroom learning environment situation. I want my students to have an opportunity to show what they can accomplish when given the opportunity to do so. When they start applying to colleges or applying for careers and jobs, I want them to be able to use these videos, go into a job interview or go to a college and say, look here, this is the kind of teamwork that I'm capable of. This is the kind of work that I'm capable of. This is what I can do if you give me the opportunity to do it. And this is something that can carry with them the rest of their lives. And so this is not just a focus for us for a year. This is something that I want to be a lifelong endeavor for them. And I really think that you're going to, from the project that we're doing, I think I've got a lot of students that you're going to see make a huge impact on our community in the future and help it to continue to grow the way it is now. I'll take any questions that you have. Thank you very much.